intend coming home, which is sad. You know, some maybe...
Do they have a reason?
Well, maybe, I was just going to say, maybe due to financial constraints. I mean, I'm a pensioner, but I try my best. I try to come over whenever I can, which is regular enough, which is once a year. If I could come more often, or if I could stay longer, I'd love it. But I only spend 2 weeks, and I'm gone, which is very sad. But there you are. I don't have the means anymore.
Joe, let's move over to politics now.
Oh, my God. That's one area I don't go into.
That's one area I love.
Well,
you saw that you worked within the First Republic of the Gambia. And you were, well, in England, a good part of the Second Republic. But I'm sure when you juxtapose the two republics, the First Republic and the Second Republic, and what you're seeing now is just what you have just talked about very recently, the developments in terms of infrastructure, meaning that the chances of moving forward were more present in the Second Republic.
There are more opportunities now, no doubt about that. More opportunities, more facilities for youngsters, and like you rightly stressed, education, health. They've been brought up to the fore. They've been
at a doorstep.
They've been advanced to such a degree that, you know, I mean, it's just there for the taking, for the asking. It's there. The facilities are there, the opportunities are there, and I wish to God that Gambian young people would make use of this opportunity. Just yesterday morning, I was listening to a program, and they were discussing about school kids who misuse their school fees, and they had very young students, 2 girls, and one of them was saying, oh, it was the fault of the parents. And to a degree, I agree. If you give your kids, your school, the money for her fees, or his fees, you go to the school and pay the fees. You don't give the child the money and say, go and pay your school fees. What happens if that child misuses the money? Or doesn't bring back a receipt? Who do you hold responsible? The parents. And that's why I've seen so many examples of kids, not in this country though, kids losing respect for their elders, kids misbehaving, kids with no discipline. I think it should start from the home. The schools are there to give you education. They're not there to bring you up. The upbringing of a child should be done in the home. You go to school, they give you education. But the upbringing of a child, I think, should, you know, start from the home. You start from the home. I mean, we've all got vices in life. I've never taken drugs in my life, and I never will. Ever. Never will. And whatever you do, whether we all have, like I said, we've all got a...
ups and downs, likes and dislikes.
Exactly, and pet loves and pet hates and all that. But whatever you do in life, you do in moderation. You do in moderation.
Joe, you lived in London. You worked there for some time and retired.
Yep.
Well, how is it like living and working in England and then post that, meaning after that, retiring and living in England? How is it like?
Well, it wasn't very difficult, to be honest, because when I went to England, I went, I think it was December 59, and I took a job, and in those days it wasn't very easy to get a job. I got a job, but it was not what I
expected.
Well, expected, and not what I wanted to do and what I loved doing. So one morning I woke up, I went to the RAF Careers office, and I said I wanted to join the Royal Air Force. And I did. Joined the Air Force. I was sent to RAF Cardington, where I was kitted out, and I served at Bridgenorth in Shropshire. And then when I left, I worked briefly with the Met Police, not as a police officer. I worked for the Metropolitan Police because the RAF found me a job, because obviously I'd served a bit. And then after that, I didn't want to sit around doing nothing. I took up another job, for which I get a pension. I get a state pension, but I also get a little bit of pension from that as well. So the transition wasn't great at all. And as a matter of fact, when I retired, actually, I went to schools in the Crawley area to give talks to young kids, you know, about tourism and about the Gambia. But it was on a voluntary basis, and I couldn't keep it on because traveling was, you know, it was expensive, and it was coming from my pocket. I was not sponsored. I had no means of getting any money from the schools, so I had to give it up because I wanted to continue doing that. In fact, I wanted to set up my own business, but with no capital, I just, you know.
Living in England, you must have people from your country who also live in England. Yep. Who are your friends in England? People that you will sit down, have a cup of coffee, or share a lager here and there?
Well, I have loads and loads of friends, but, you know, distance is one thing. Some of them I am on the phone to them. I don't like to mention names because you mention one or two names. Others say, Fatima. No, I'll refrain from mentioning names. Yes. I've got quite a few friends.
Okay.
But I live alone, unfortunately, because I was married in this country, not in England, and I was married to a Gambian. I was married on the 24th of February in 1981. 7 months later, 29th of September, my wife died.
My condolences. That is life.
But I haven't remarried yet. I'm still looking for Miss Right. It's a topic I don't like to talk about because it makes me become very emotional.
I understand.
Because my marriage was very short-lived. Because I courted my wife for a year, and then all of a sudden she was gone. But I know she's happy wherever she may be. Maybe in heaven.
When you listen to the airwaves now, as you come in and go, have you realized that yes, people have really taken up the broadcasting to another level?
Yes. Definitely, yes. Because I always bring a radio, so I always listen to GRTS or whatever it's called.
West Coast Radio.
West Coast, yes.
And the other radio
As a matter of fact,
stations.
this program I was telling you that I listened to yesterday morning came from West Coast. But I didn't know the connection between West Coast and your station.
No, that's a private radio station.
Okay, because like I said, I don't know much. Because you see, when I come to Gambia, I mean, I've got my elder brother. We're four in the family. My brother, Roland, he lives in Banjul. He's elderly now, 87. I've got a sister, or I had a sister, I should say, Mrs. Stafford, married to Reverend Stafford. He's also elderly now. He's in a wheelchair. I've got a sister, Mrs. Bright Nancy. She's at Fajara. Presently, she's visiting her daughters abroad. And then me. I'm the youngest.
What about Charles?
Which Charles?
Charles Gabidon. He should be in the States, I
He's
think.
my brother's second eldest.
Oh, that's right.
Second eldest of my brother's kids.
Well,
I'm the unfortunate one with no kids. That's why I said I'm still looking for Miss Right.
Well, finally, did you meet some of the old friends of yours in the broadcasting sphere when you came, Joy Coker? Or
no, unfortunately, not this time, no. No.
Well, they'll be viewing you on television, by the way.
Yeah, and then I would have loved to meet some of the secretaries of state or ministers over the past few years, like Angela Colley.
She's in Nigeria.
So I don't see those people, and they're great friends of mine, yes. Even the present High Commissioner in London is a friend of mine. When I say friend, I mean, not so much in the official capacity. They're people I feel I can talk to, you know, on a friendly basis, apart from it all being official and officious, you know.
Joe Gabidon, it's been a pleasure to have you on the interview. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
This has been the interview. My guest, Joe Gabidon, veteran broadcaster, lived and worked in the United Kingdom, now retired, stays in the United Kingdom, but frequents the Gambia almost on a yearly basis. From me, Molly Jones, join me in the interview next week, and have a good night.